Alright everyone, welcome to the third episode of Amazing World of Geek. I'm one of your hosts here, Zero, and I'm with...
Chris, Chachi98.
Awesome, so... How's it going, Chris? I mean, we haven't done this in... I'm not sure, I'm losing track of time. I'm like time traveling here. What is it, like, it's 2 weeks?
It's 2 weeks, but it feels longer. It feels even longer.
I know.
So many things happen.
I think we're starting to realise some of the difficulties in keeping up a regular show like this with two adult full-time working guys.
Grown men.
trying to do stuff like this. But hey, whatever. We'll do one when we do one.
That's it.
It's not affecting too many people if we don't release one. Not that many people listen to it anyway, right?
That's okay.
Yeah, so we haven't had a chance to like catch up in a while. Hey, so what's been going on? What have you been doing?
What have I been doing?
I think just before we recorded, you said like you were playing MKX and testing that out because they fixed some stuff.
Okay. Yes, I have been playing MKX with the new netcode, and it's amazing.
Fixed.
It is fixed. If you hardwire your PS4 and play it, and you've got a good internet connection, it is fixed. I can officially say it is fixed. It is almost Street Fighter fixed. Street Fighter 4 fixed, almost.
Yeah.
To prove, if anyone knows what I'm talking about, I was able to do a full screen Johnny Cage combo online, which was never...
That was impossible before.
That was impossible. There was absolutely no chance of doing that with the run cancels. No chance whatsoever. That is a big tick in the box for me. It's too late, to be honest. It's a year too late, but...
Right, because it's been out for so long.
Yeah.
I haven't played that game since it came out, since launch. And
I think the last time you played it...
Mortal Kombat XL just came out, which is basically like a fancy name, pretty much meaning like, you know, it's the Ultimate Edition. You know, it's got all the DLC and all the add-ons and stuff in one ready-to-play kind of game without having to download anything. I suppose you'd probably still have to download some patches or something, but the net play is fixed. Above all, you can actually play online now, so that's pretty big. That's the one thing. I think you were texting me on the weekend saying you were playing, and yeah, I think that's like the one thing that's making me kind of go, oh, okay, I actually feel like replaying it or going back and actually properly playing it, because I stopped playing that game a bit after it came out because there was just so much wrong with it. Like, what's one of the main reasons why you play a fighting game these days? To you know, fight people, players, like IRL players, like actual human players.
Right.
Online is the main way to do that now. So as soon as that doesn't work in a fighting game, it's like, you know, uh-oh. How many times are you going to do versus mode or the tower mode or story or whatever, you know?
Yeah, that's it.
That's only half the game, isn't it? So that's good. I'm glad to hear that. I might have to, you know, check it out. Maybe get the XL version or whatever and have another go. So that's cool. Anything else?
Another thing we were actually talking about last time, amongst the other games, just before we forget, is let's just get down to the nitty and gritty of it. I saw the movie Deadpool. But we didn't have a chance to have a chat about that last time. I just want to quickly run through this because it is a bit late on this one because I had forgotten to bring it up. But the things
I watched that. I think the weekend it came out, and I think you watched it 1 or 2 weekends after that. Yep. So I mean, it's been out for a while now, but it's still new. It's still kind of relevant. I mean, I'm still seeing news pop up about that movie pretty much every day on the news feeds and stuff. So it's done quite well for, I guess, just Marvel movies in general, I think. But you know, comic movies in general, I'd say actually. But yeah, specifically Marvel movies, which is good. It's good to see. You know, it was I don't know. Like some people might say it was a surprise. Some people saw it coming, but it was fun. Yeah. But you saw it more recently than I did, so your I guess impressions or memories of it might be a bit more clearer than mine. So yeah, what did you think?
I just want to break it down quite quite quickly, just because we'll just breeze over this one because we missed out on it last
Sure.
episode. But the things I liked about this movie, the things I liked about it, I liked that it was made. After I saw the movie, I went down and dug deeper and saw the production and the issues they had releasing it, and the leaks and the fake leaks and the leaks on the internet that were purpose-filled, and it was just good to see that a movie can get made if people just scream and shout, almost like a Kickstarter for it. I loved the casting. I loved the soundtrack in it. I absolutely love the soundtrack. I love that it was funny. I don't actually know too much about it. I know there was a very poorly based character in one of the X-Men movies on it. And
I'm sure everyone, unfortunately still has a bad taste in their mouth after that one. That was the first Wolverine spin-off movie, what was it called? Wolverine... X-Men Origins Wolverine or something like that. Oh,
something like this.
But, yeah, it was basically the first Wolverine movie, and there was that shoddy attempt at just kind of like inserting the Deadpool character in that. So, yeah, I unfortunately still remember that. So.
Yeah,
it's funny how they made fun of it in the actual Deadpool movies. Isn't it?
Yeah,
there were a few references to that.
It was great for references and stuff like that throughout the movie. The one thing that I really, and I know this has to be done in these movies, there was a couple of things, but I enjoyed the movie thoroughly. The one thing I thought that was a bit too obvious, and I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but it seemed too much of a setup for like a trilogy or something like that. The movie did I understand the main storyline was based around letting you know who this character is and how this character came to be. But it felt like the whole movie was that, if you know what I mean. If there's any criticisms, not very critical on it, but that's the one thing I really, really was like, we get the point, But I honestly thought this was a great movie. Loved the cast. I loved the whole idea of, this guy that it's the bizarro. It's the polar opposite of what usually you do here, And then it was actually good in a movie without being too slapsticky. It actually made a great film. Made a great, 1 hour and whatever it was, and 8 minutes or whatever it was. But I actually really enjoyed this movie. Speaking of movies that you enjoy, let's go to the opposite. And what was the movie you saw recently?
Okay, so yeah, I did see Deadpool a while ago, just before you did, I think. But more recently than that, I watched. Well, actually, no. Before
unless you want to talk about Deadpool before we get
look, yeah, really quickly, I wholeheartedly agree with you on your impressions of the film. My viewing might have been a little bit more different, or reading of it might have been more different to yours. Obviously, having been a comic book collector at a slightly earlier stage in my life, Deadpool was one of the monthlies that I used to pick up back then. So that was my first introduction to like the actual character, the comic book character, was through the actual comics, right? And then I think the movie as well, the Wolverine movie kind of first introduced him into the cinematic universe, or whatever you want to call it at that stage, which everyone kind of has the same opinion on that one. But yeah, same thing, Chris. Yeah, this was awesome. I really enjoyed it. There were a couple of funny moments in the actual cinema because it was like packed. We saw it in a little like a smaller theater when I went to see it with a few mates of mine, and I think I told you this back then when I saw it was I felt kind of old in the theater watching it because there were so many instances where I actually couldn't hear the gags or the jokes because everyone was just being so loud in the audience. And I should actually watch it a second time just to appreciate it just more and have a better viewing experience. But yeah, there were just so many parts where I just honestly, my hearing's probably not as great or something, I don't know, but I just couldn't hear half the gags and jokes. Like some of the dialogue I just couldn't hear because people were just laughing so loud and just talking and stuff, and that's like a minor gripe. I can't really fault the film for that, but yeah, just a funny little anecdote there. And yeah, like obviously having grown up on comics and like Marvel and DC and stuff, and previously having read the Deadpool Marvel comics, I noticed a few, some of the references that they purposely threw in there in the movie that kind of like made me chuckle to myself. Like I think there was like a slow tracking shot at the start where it's like the camera's going through the car, like everything's frozen, and the camera's kind of like slowly moving through the car. Everyone's like upside down and stuff in the car. And I think you see a coffee cup and it says like Rob L on it. I'm pretty sure that was a reference to Rob Liefeld, the creator and infamous comic book, personality that he is. So that kind of made me chuckle to myself. And honestly, you could sit here honestly for like hours just picking apart all the references and jokes and some of those breaking of the fourth wall moments, which is, I think that's what makes the character so appealing though, is those moments where it just kind of like breaks and he like, he addresses you, the audience member, and he like talks to you through the camera and breaks that fourth wall. That was half the reason why I loved the comics so much, was stuff like that, And I've noticed now so many, maybe not so much movies, I can't really think of many movies off the top of my head, but I know shows are doing that a lot now, like this new generation of TV shows that are being created, which are awesome, but a lot of them are breaking the fourth wall now.
Right.
I've noticed, which is really interesting to see. I don't know, Deadpool's like an obvious example, but yeah, I just thought it was interesting seeing a lot of shows doing that. Like if anyone watches House of Cards, I can't praise that show enough. Holy shit. But the character Frank Underwood in that by Kevin Spacey cleverly breaks the fourth wall in certain instances throughout that series. And I think the new season just came out, so I got to get on that and watch that.
I've actually never seen that show, but
Netflix. You've got
do
to
talk
watch
about
it.
Yeah.
It's hard. Like I love talking about it, but there's no one to talk to about it. No one I know has really watched the whole thing from start to finish yet. So, maybe if you watch it, we can have a chat about it. But Mr. Robot is another show I loved very much from last year, from 2015. That also does that. I mean, the opening of that show is literally the main character speaking to you straight up as an audience member. Straight away breaking the fourth wall. Like that's the first thing that happens in that show.
Wow.
And it's clever because as the viewer, the audience member, you're like supposed to be the voice in the character's head, or this figment of his imagination in his head. Right. And I thought that was really clever too. But yeah, there's things like that currently happening in shows too, which is really cool. But I digress again. The movie Deadpool, awesome. We're pretty much like preaching to the choir right now, I think. So, you know what I mean? Like, pretty much everyone's seen it by this point. Everyone knows it's awesome. People that didn't understand or know of the character that much, who have seen it now, are pretty much on board with it. So, and yeah, I think you're right. It is probably setting itself up for a sequel, which isn't too strange. With it's a comic book. It's a comic book movie. It's obviously going to have a sequel. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is currently in production, I think. Like, they're literally filming it right now, I think, from what I'm hearing. The Captain America 2 movie's coming out soon. No, sorry, what am I saying? Captain America 3, Civil War, that's a third one. I forget Winter Soldier is number 2, because everyone just forgets the first one existed. The first Avenger. Obviously Batman v Superman's setting itself up for a big string of sequels when that comes out soon. Who knows? I mean, who knows? Everyone knows it's going towards a Justice League film. Isn't that what they're trying to go for?
I think that's the end game. Yeah,
So,
I'm not.
and they're rebooting Spider-Man again.
Again.
Isn't that happening? Yeah, there's a new actor now. They're
Wow.
I don't know. Like they'll probably think of a clever way to make it not sound like a reboot, but in my eyes, it's a friggin' reboot again, which is like. I don't know. Like I'm gonna go off topic again, but that's a whole nother can of worms. But other than Deadpool, I was really fortunate enough to actually attend a screening of the original Predator movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger in the city a few weeks ago. It was a Friday night, and boy, was that was fun. It's a shame because there's for those of you that don't know, there's a like a screening event thing that they're doing in town at the moment where I live, and I think a couple of times a month on a Friday night at 7 p.m. they'll do a screening, and it's basically just a retro movie. So they've done things like Ghostbusters now, Predator was the first one. I think Breakfast Club is the next one. They're playing Highlander. What else? Star Trek 2 Wrath of Khan, Goodfellas, Blade Runner. Me and a mate just booked our tickets the other night to go see Blade Runner in end of April.
Oh, man.
So we're going to go see that. I've always wanted to watch that on the big screen, but Predator...
That would be nuts on a big screen.
...was awesome. Like, can you imagine a cinema full of fans, like super fans, just all loving it and just quoting the shit out of it. Like, every scene, there was a quotable line. I mean, you know that movie's quotable and there's like lots of one-liners, but I don't think it really hits you until you're watching it with other fans. Usually you watch it by yourself or with like one friend or a loved one or something. Yeah. But you go see it with like a group of people or a bunch of people, and oh man, there's just so many lines in that. Everyone was having such a good time. It was just laughs and quotes and gags and stuff. It was really cool. I think I got a pamphlet for it here. It is the Cult Film Classics in the House event. So it's season 2. I was kicking myself because apparently I missed out on the first one. I didn't even know it was a thing. And in the first one they played the original Terminator movie.
Oh, wow.
The 1984 James Cameron classic. And God, kicking myself for not seeing that, for not being aware of it, because I would have been all over that. I've always wanted to watch that on the big screen. But Predator was awesome, man. Like, I highly recommend people take advantage of things like this when they're on at their local cinemas, like these little cult film or classic film screenings that sometimes they set up. But yeah, I'm planning on catching Blade Runner on the 29th of April. This is through Event Cinemas if people are in Ausland in Australia. I think they're running it in Sydney and Brisbane and probably some other cities, I'm not too sure. But yeah, season 2. But unfortunately, I was invited to go see Gods of Egypt 2 weekends ago. And what a bloody waste of time. What a bloody waste of ticket money.
Oh, wow.
I feel bad because the guy, when I was buying my ticket, he asked me if I wanted to use my points on my card to get a free ticket, and I didn't. I should have, because it was a waste of bloody money.
Why?
Man, why? Oh, where do I start? It was... I think I described it best after the movie finished. My friend's like, so what did you think? And I said, it would have been great if it was in the 90s, if it was the 90s right now, and this was like a Saturday morning cartoon or something.
Right.
Because that's what it pretty much was. It's like a cartoon you would have seen on like Cheese TV in the morning or like something like that, like one of those morning shows. There's just so much stuff in there that reminded me of like something I would have been watching as a kid on a cartoon show. Like, for example, the gods have like these... They look like humans, right? You know, Gerard Butler's one of the gods, and the guy off Game of Thrones, whatever his name is, Nikolai something. But then they have these like god armor modes, like Egyptian god armor modes, and they like power up.
Wow.
And they've got these like full armor modes, and they've got like wings and all these like things and stuff, and like ancient Egyptian god weapons and stuff. And it's like, that's such a, like, it just seems like a Saturday morning cartoon kind of like formula that they would have used for like a show back then. Alright, so you got these good guys, and like they're fighting the bad guys, and like when they get in trouble, they have like these armor modes, right? Like you can just picture, or like these guys pitching it like back in the 90s. It just felt like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Wow.
Look, it's just a long, drawn out, overly tedious CG fest. We didn't watch it in 3D. It was just the 2D session. And to be honest, I don't think it would have been any better in 3D as an experience. It's just one of those movies, you know, these things come out, it generates hype for about 5 minutes, if any, and people just forget about it. Like, that's not a movie I'm ever gonna revisit in my entire life. And it's just gonna be like this anecdote, you know, oh, it's this movie I saw when I was, you know, that age, when I was bored that weekend. It's just rubbish. It was boring. The acting was bad, the characters were annoying. Overly annoying, and like that's it. Like, how can you watch a movie with overly annoying characters and it just makes you want to claw your eyes out or something? It's just bad for the senses. But you know, I still got to watch Predator. That was good, and Deadpool, and Blade Runner's coming up, so I'm kind of excited for that. It's Blade Runner. It's going to be good.
Oh man,
it's awesome.
That movie on the big screen. That was so far beyond its time. But you said
you should come. You should get a ticket.
I should come to Blade Runner actually. But you said that they had Ghostbusters, and that just reminded me.
Ghostbusters was on the 26th of February, so we just missed it. I didn't want to go see that because I've already seen it on the big screen at an older event from a few years ago. Back when they had that. What was that place called? The Tribal Theatre on George Street in Brisbane, if you don't remember. Man, that place was awesome. And they used to play so many excellent movies, like old school movies and stuff, classic movies, and I think they shut down or something. It's like a ticket agent now, travel agent or something, which is shit.
Ticket Tack. But
there was an event, they had Ghostbusters and The Labyrinth, Jim Henson's The Labyrinth with David Bowie. And
I actually didn't know this
one night
until just the other day, but they're making the Ghostbusters again, but women.
Holy crap, you're right. The trailer just came out.
Yeah, I saw that the other day, and wow.
What do you think? Because there's two kinds of people, I think. Now they're like, oh, it's pointless. It's like why did they do it? It's a pointless reboot or whatever you want to call it. And then other people are like, you know, it might actually be good.
It might be funny, you know. Like, Ghostbusters was... The thing with Ghostbusters, it was funny, but it was hell scary. It was scary.
Yeah.
Like, when you were younger, it was scary. I hate Bill Murray. I shouldn't say that, but I'm not a fan of Bill Murray.
Pissed off the entire internet just now.
Oh, I don't care. That's the only movie. That and Stripes, I think it is.
Stripes, yeah. You don't like Groundhog Day?
No, that is one of the... Yeah, I'm not going to say anything, sorry.
Ooh, dangerous territory.
Yeah, I know, right? But no, it was just... That was a great movie, Ghostbusters. I don't know what they're going to do with it. I saw the trailer, so I'll sit back.
Apparently Bill Murray... I don't know. I'm pretty sure I read something in passing saying that he was going to have, like, a cameo appearance or something like that in it, which is weird, because I thought he was... For years, wasn't he like the only one that was against like the Ghostbusters 3 script? There was stories where they'd send him the script.
That's
and he'd
why
send
I
it back
don't.
in shreds and stuff.
Yeah,
like, all torn up.
Yeah, I heard a lot about that and how they had to do voiceovers for games, and he's like, oh, come to my golf club and I'll do it while I'm out there, and he just always seemed like. Gosh. But that's hearsay, you know. He's probably a great person.
True.
But I was always.
I don't know. I'm still gonna see it, like the new one. You know,
I'll probably see it. Look, I'll probably see it.
It looks cool. Slimer's in it. I saw him in the trailer.
I had the game on Sega. That game was fucking amazing, man.
Which was like the good one. It wasn't the shitty Nintendo, the NES one.
No, I never had that one.
Like the good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I totally forgot that trailer came out just the other day. Literally. last week.
Yeah, you just when you said Ghostbusters, it just like popped to the front of my
well
head.
Remembered, Chris. See, I forget stuff. That's why you're there. To remind me about
other than all
real
this,
life stuff.
What I have been doing this week, and this is way behind everybody, and courtesy of you actually. Thank you so much for this. I've been playing Street Fighter, and I've been playing MKX with friends on this great netcode. I can't say that enough. And also came out, and you mentioned this earlier, I believe, right at the start of the stream. So I thought I'd just quickly dabble back into that before we go too far away from it. The actual Hitman beta just came out yesterday, which is one of those things that is scaring people a little, I think, this game. I think it is. I think this is maybe a step in the direction of the opposite of which everybody is hoping games will go in, where you pay for the game and it comes out ready to play. I think it's actually the opposite. They're making a stand and they're like, we're going to release this game in parts after we have your money.
Now, isn't that weird? Or, well, I guess you could say I think it's weird.
I think it's weird.
That's becoming... I don't want to say the norm, because I don't think it is at that stage yet, but it's becoming more prevalent now, where games are coming out in bits, or parts, or chapters, or sections. Now, it works if it's like a Telltale game, and it's telled, here we go. Oh, I'm going to cop it for that one. Told. Oh, that's bad. All my friends listening to this, I apologize.
That's fine.
Told. If it's okay for a Telltale game like that, where it's supposed to be told in like episodes, in an episodic format, right? That works. It's like a short novel or whatever.
Yeah.
But it works for a point and click adventure game like that. It's fine. I get it. But there's these like big AAA title games that now are coming out in chunks. Like, I know that sounds bad, but it is. Like, they're coming out in chunks. The Final Fantasy VII remake that's been so hyped up for years now, and they've shown trailers and footage of it, is apparently or supposedly coming out in chapters like that, in chunks. Bit by bit, chapter by chapter, piece by piece. As opposed to like one whole complete game that you can pop in and literally play in one sitting. Not one sitting, it's a Final Fantasy game, but you know what I mean. Like, it's one complete game. You can have playing, start to finish in one or several goes or whatever. You don't have to wait for the next bit to come out or part to come out.
Right.
And, yeah, I mean, isn't that going to hurt the Hitman game? Like, the fact that it's coming out in pieces now?
I think I don't know. I think it's taking advantage of well, I don't know. It depends what they're doing it for. Are they putting it that way so they can improve the game, or are they putting it that way so they can fund the game because they don't have money?
Interesting point. I didn't consider that, maybe. But does that make it okay, though?
No, I don't think it does. Because, there's not many things out there that you can purchase without getting the goods. Comes down to taking advantage of maybe an industry where this hasn't been done yet, and it's legal, obviously. It's legal. What they're doing is legal.
It is a shame because the game can be stellar. It can be great, perfect, not or near perfect. I don't even know if there's such thing as a perfect game, but near perfect.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, it's like one level or one stage or one chapter or whatever it is you want to call it.
Yeah.
And doesn't that just leave people feeling unsatisfied? Isn't this what happened with Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes prior to the release of Phantom Pain? Remember they released Ground Zeroes and it was like a prequel or just one episode. It was one map, one chapter that just set up the story for Phantom Pain, and everyone was, everyone had their opinion on that, and how it wasn't good. It looked bad, and looked bad for the company, for Konami, and it left fans dissatisfied because it wasn't enough. It was just a teaser.
I think...
So I don't know, this is kind of similar in that way, isn't it? Like, they're only getting a piece.
My main thing
piece
is...
of the action, so to speak.
Yeah, I think my main thing is when you're paying for something, you don't necessarily know the end result when it's something like this, you know? They can completely change the game after you've purchased it. I don't understand that. Look, the beta played well. I gotta admit, it's not my style of game.
So you did play it? The beta?
Yeah, I played it for probably about 4 hours now. Solid hours. I think it's only got 2 missions on it. One of the missions feels like it's in the game. It feels very polished. It feels like it's part of the storyline because I believe it is. It's got cinematic trailers there and everything. The other one, however, just seems very, very cheaply thrown together. Look, it's not, like I said, it's not my style of game. It seems like it's the type of game where they're going for replay ability. There's all these different ways of going about things, and it's just like the last Hitman. I think it's Absolution. I'm not entirely... Or is this one Absolution?
Wasn't it? I want to say Blood Money, but...
No, Blood Money, no. Blood Money was like the critically acclaimed one that everyone raves on about. I think I had Blood Money. That was quite good.
Was that older, was it?
Yeah, that was an older version. I believe that was a stronger game than the prior.
I'm a bit out of the loop with Hitman as a franchise. I think I've only played Hitman 2 on PC back in the day when that was a thing.
I think the general consensus with Hitman is it's sort of gone south. Not to be part of that. Like, I've always thought they were decent games, but I believe Blood Money, I'm pretty sure Blood Money was roughly 2008. I'm probably wrong, and people tear me to shreds.
I think producing 2 bad movies based on the games didn't hurt it.
Don't even say it.
You know, didn't do it well. Didn't do it justice, I think.
Yeah, that last one is apparently... I haven't even seen it, but...
Neither have I.
Yeah, well, there you go. For me. Young sir. Yeah, the first one, wow, man. Yeah. I think... I just want to quickly go through the games and probably not stay on it too long. But, yeah, okay, so Hitman, the original one, was 2000. That was, I believe people went nuts over that game.
Well, yeah, because it was...
it was something different. You could...
Yeah, it was different. It was new. You got to mess around with, like, stealth and stuff. There weren't that many stealth games out at that time. There was, like, Metal Gear Solid and... maybe Splinter Cell, the first one. I'm not sure. Maybe that came out later. I think remember.
Splinter Cell was roughly the same time. It was after the original Hitman. But Hitman has always been... It's always been good. It's always been received quite well. I believe it dived down a bit in I can't say what year. I think it is the last one. Here it is. Absolution, 2012.
Oh, so it was Absolution.
Yeah, okay. The previous one was Absolution. I wasn't a massive fan of that game. It looks as if this game is headed more in that direction. This the latest one. I think this one might just be called Hitman. I don't know what the subtitle is, honestly. I don't think it's ready just yet. It's got to release soon, so there you go. That's
this
maybe...
year?
Yeah, very, very, very soon. Uncharted's been pushed back now. That's another topic. But Hitman's released very, very soon, and I think it's going to stay on par with its predecessors.
The Division comes out tonight, doesn't it? Like midnight tonight?
I'm more interested... Yeah. This is personal preference, obviously, but I hope it does. I'm more interested in this game. I was talking to a friend the other day about this game, and he definitely just was talking about, it's going to be this, and it's going to be another Destiny, and I don't know. That beta, it did its job for me. It made me want the game, I got to be honest. I played it a lot more.
I want to get it.
Yeah, I'm going to sit on it and wait, but I'll see. But
I want to get it. I'm not going to get it now. It comes out tonight, but...
It does. Are you sure?
I just... No, it does. It comes out on the 8th. It's 7:30 p.m. Monday the 7th now of March.
Wow.
So, and it launches on the 8th. So it literally goes live tonight on, for players that have bought it or pre-ordered it or whatever.
Wow.
I just can't commit to a game like that right now. It's just... I won't get time to play it with work stuff on and other things right now. But I will. I want to check that out for myself now. So
right.
The positive buzz around the beta and all that sort of stuff has got me, like I said last time, back on board. I'm positively intrigued now. So I will eventually. Hopefully get my hands on it sooner rather than later, but just not right now.
There are a couple of things that are keeping the buzz around. I think there's a couple of things that not even set in solid stone yet. But when I was talking to my friend the other day, I was talking about Rising Storm 2, and he mentioned that the new Battlefield game, you probably already knew this a while ago, it will be World War One. I
didn't have a clue actually. I haven't heard anything about a new Battlefield game.
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty much 60% positive that it will actually be a World War One shooter.
That'll be interesting.
That will be
for them to go back in time like that.
Yeah. So that'll
be good.
There are.
I know that'll make a lot of FPS fans happy, especially of that specific type of genre like Battlefield games and stuff. So
yeah,
that sounds alright to me.
But yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been playing the betas and trying to see what's out there, what's coming next. But I have been playing Street Fighter. Thank you for that. And
that's alright.
Wow, that game is...
One of the interesting things that has got me thinking is the fact that you are a dare I say it, Mortal Kombat player, right? You've been playing mostly that for quite some time.
Right. Exclusively almost for like 8 months to a year, yeah.
Sure, yeah. Definitely. And one of the interesting things to me was seeing you adapt or react to this new type of fighting game, like that you're not typically or traditionally used to,
How bad was I the other night, though, when you versed me?
Look. That's not fair to say, though, is it? Because
I've never really played Street Fighter, but it was good.
Exactly. That's not... You can't say, I was bad, you were good, and I was bad. I've been playing Street Fighter for a long time, years, I want to say, but you've been playing Mortal Kombat, so it's unfair to say that, or make a judgment like that. But it was just really, really, really interesting to me seeing you try to grasp this new, or different, I should say, fight system, because it's not the same as Mortal Kombat.
Oh god, no.
The most interesting thing, specifically here, was you trying to grapple with the fact that you have to hold back to block, as opposed to holding... What is it in Mortal Kombat again?
R2.
It's like one of the R2, there you go. As opposed to pressing or holding a button like R2 or a trigger button or bumper button to block.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think you had a bit of difficulty with wrapping your head around the fact that, you got to hold the back directional button to guard.
Oh,
and to low guard, you got to hold down back.
That's crazy. It's crazy to me. It's so crazy.
But I seem to recall when you first started playing at that time that you had a bit of a good experience with it as a fighting game, as a Street Fighter game.
Yeah.
You had a bit of fun with it, which was good.
I'm lucky. I don't have all the things. I have some of the things, but I don't have anything to really complain about it being easy, because there's no way I could finish.
It's just the D-pad, the PS, because you're playing it on PS4. Right?
Yeah, right.
When I was playing it at your place, I found the D-pad on the PS4 controller is just... I don't want to say atrocious, that's the first word that popped in my head, but yeah, it kind of was. For a fighting game, the D-pad's fine, right? But for a fighting game, as soon as you start trying to use that PS4 D-pad, it just... Yeah, it doesn't click with me.
It doesn't, no.
you know, if I can say that.
You need
I'm
a
used to
stick.
using the or a fight stick. Yeah, see, that would be awesome, but I suck at using the arcade stick or the fight stick.
Really?
I just can't. No, I can't use it. I'm really bad. I just mess up all my moves trying to... I can't explain it. I'm just not used to it because I've been playing with a controller for pretty much my whole life. I got Street Fighter 4 on PS3 when it first came out, and I had all the different editions of that on PS3. So I was used to using the PS3 for that, and I can't quite remember my experience with that D-pad on that fighting game. I don't think it was too bad. I used to pull it off.
Right.
Pull the moves off. But then I made the switch to PC, which I never would have imagined in a million years I would be doing. Getting a fighting game on PC and playing it on PC. But I I did. I exclusively played Street Fighter 4 on PC because my mates got into it a few years ago. I think it was last year or the year before. And then I got it on PC because that's what they had it on. And that was like literally the only way I could verse them in it. And, you know, long story short, they got so good at it, they thrashed me multiple times, every time. But that's not the moral of the story. What I'm trying to say is, like, because I was playing it on PC, obviously I couldn't play it using a keyboard. So I actually had to invest in buying a controller for the PC.
Right.
And obviously you're going to get an Xbox One because it's Microsoft, it's compatible, you just plug and play.
Yeah.
And I got an Xbox 360 controller at the time, and I hated it. I hated that thing at the start because I've never had an Xbox in my life, never had to use a Xbox controller. It felt alien using it, you know, it just didn't feel right because I've been using PlayStation peripherals for years, ever since the PS2 came out. And it grew on me. Now I can't imagine playing a fighting game with anything other than an Xbox 360 controller. Not even Xbox One, like, I'm just talking straight up, like, normal, you know, Xbox 360 controller, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird, like, I don't know. You might even adapt to the PS4 D-pad like I did with the Xbox One, but I don't know, it's just something weird about it. Like, it feels like you can't get enough precision in the inputs with the PS4 D-pad in a fighting game. I'm just talking about fighting games. I can't fault it in pretty much any other game, genre of game, but just fighting games, it doesn't work too well. And I can't use the joystick. Like, I don't like using the joystick in fighting games. Some people do. That's cool. I'm just not one of those people.
I struggle with it, yeah.
There's a Street Fighter 5 tournament, like a little mini tournament in our hometown here on Sunday. I wanted to go, but none of my friends wanted to go, so I gave it a pass. I didn't want... It's one of those things you kind of feel weird going to it by yourself. You know what I mean?
I'd go watch.
Like,
I don't know.
I wanted to compete. I wanted to have a go because apparently it's usually big, the one they have, but they had to downsize it because not enough people applied for the tournament. Not enough fighters.
Wow.
I think there was only like 20-something Street Fighter 5 players, so they had to really downsize it.
Wow.
And there was a prize pool too. I'm like, come on, you guys got to get on this. There's a prize pool. Even if we don't win, who gives a crap? You know, you go for the hype and for the experience. But whatever, maybe next time.
I want to get good at this game. I do want to get good at this game. I do feel as if I'm good at MKX now. I feel comfortable enough to say that I'm good.
Well, yeah.
I played a friend on the weekend, and yeah, he found it. It was like when I versed you. You know, when you just you understand the game. It's the understanding that you have to get your head around. But I will. Yeah, I feel as if I will spend a lot of time on Street Fighter. I'm sad that it didn't sell that well. I looked at the numbers the other day, and yeah, I just couldn't.
It's understandable though, isn't it? Like, that game had such a bad launch. It really did, and I think, dare I say it, I believe that actually hurt the sales. Like, a lot of people I know that were interested in getting the game just didn't, just because of the shaky launch that it had. Just to clarify, online and everything works now. It's fixed. It took like a week for them to fully sort it out. maybe just over a week. I think it was a week.
Right.
To sort it out, but online's stable now. There's no disconnects. If you do get disconnects, it's because of rage quitters that like, don't want to go up against you for whatever reason. It might be a certain character you've chosen. I'm sick of seeing Ryu and Ken fighters online, Chris. I don't rage quit because that's a dog thing to do, but
right.
Every time they get me, I can't. Every single time they get me. And Chun-Li, I've never versed a Chun-Li fighter and won.
I've beaten a Chun-Li fighter now. I've won 2
She's
matches.
Deadly.
Yeah. She's always crouching. Why is she always crouching? Is there any reason for that?
Because
I
think it's probably because she's a... I think it's because she's a charge character.
Okay.
I find it's the easiest way to do the charge moves. If you're in like kind of like just a down, crouching position, because if you hold down back, it counts as a charge. Like when you're doing the charge move.
Right. It's
hard to explain, but yeah, I think that's why.
But I've thoroughly enjoyed it, so no, I'm happy.
Yeah, same. I mean, it's obviously I wish there was more in it, but. That's apparently coming out this month sometime, all the other modes and whatnot.
We talked about it with Hitman, but is this something that they're peppering into our lifestyles? Where they just do release what you might say not a full game, and then, I don't know. It's something to keep an eye on, at least, you know?
It seems that way, doesn't it? Like
it does, I think
we're
slowly.
seeing more games, and more frequently now. It's not like, one game here and one game there, one at the end of the year, whatever. No, it's like... It feels like, or appears to be more frequent now, where something will come out and, they're just kind of like slowly, bit by bit, releasing modes, content, or in the case of Hitman, actual like missions. So that's the craziest thing I'm finding. It's getting that crazy now, you know, mission by mission. Pay the game, you pump your hard-earned cash into it.
Right.
Full price, and you're getting it bit by bit, chunk by chunk, piece by piece. I don't know.
Doesn't feel right.
I can't say I really agree with that.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't either. But
it's like I was saying before. It can be a great game, but what's the point when you've only got 1 mission or 2 missions or whatever to start off with? Barely enough to keep you going for you know, for the long run.
Yeah.
Until they release more, but who knows? You might even get bored of it by the time they release the next thing.
That's just it, yeah. Well, playing the beta made me feel probably not as comfortable as the Division beta, but the Uncharted beta. That was open again on the weekend. I chose.
Was it really?
Yeah, the multiplayer.
I had no idea.
It was just a stress test again. Like not many people even play the multiplayer, to be honest with you. From previous games, that's my belief, but we'll see. I think that got pushed back again. I'm not happy. I want this game to come out, and I want it to be good.
Hopefully it's for the best.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully it's for a very, very, very good reason, and not just, you know... I'm sure there is. I don't know. It sucks that it got pushed back, but hopefully it's for the best.
Yeah.
You know, to release the game in the most complete way possible.
Yeah, well, that's just it. You know, that's all you can hope for. Is there anything it's a pretty broad question, but movies, games, is there anything you're actually looking forward to coming anytime soon?
I'm not too sure. I mean, again, I'm just going to stick with it and just say Doom. I'm looking forward to seeing Blade Runner for the first time on the... I've seen it multiple times. I'm a big fan of the film, but I'm seeing it for the first time on a big screen, so that's going to be a thing. I'm excited for that. One of the best sci-fi, cyberpunk, tech-noir movies ever made. Ridley Scott, you know, in his prime.
Yeah.
More recent stuff, though, I'm looking forward to checking out Batman v Superman when that comes out later this month, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe,
March.
Yeah. You will be going to see that? I have to see it with you.
I will. I don't know when. I haven't pre-ordered tickets or anything, but I'm excited to see that. people are going to see it for the slugfest. You know, it looks like there's going to be a bit of a beef between Bifferino,
the old Bifferino,
Soups and old Bats. So that'll be exciting. There's things I've seen in the trailer that I'm not, excited for. But whatever. You go for the fact that you're gonna have scenes with Batman and Superman in it together. So that's something people have been crying for since like the 70s when the first Superman movie came out, I think.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. What else? I don't know. Rogue One, but that's coming out way at the end of the year.
What's
I want to see Rogue One? The Star Wars spin-off movie, the first anthology movie.
I haven't even heard of this. Wow. Have you told me about this?
Yeah, Rogue One. I can't remember. Probably not. But the cast looks good. Mads Mikkelsen's in it from Hannibal and various other famous movies and shows. So I'm really excited for that. I think it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a good movie.
Yeah.
Which is typical of me. It's Star Wars and I'm going in optimistic. It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Hey, you weren't disappointed last time, so...
It's Rogue One. It's an anthology movie. It's about how a band of secret agents, part of the Rebel Alliance, are tasked with the mission of, having to track down and get their hands on the secret Death Star plans from the Empire, which is leading into the fourth movie, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, which is the original Star Wars movie, the 1977 movie.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting seeing a different type of Star Wars movie. And it looks like there's going to be an interesting group of characters to get to know. So we haven't seen anything much about it other than some cast announcements, I think a photo or two. And there was that teaser trailer from last year, the ILM teaser trailer. I think it was from like some event, some Comic-Con event or something. I think it's still on YouTube. It's bad quality if anyone hasn't seen it. But it's pretty cool. It's got that narration at the start of it by Sir Alec Guinness, Obi-Wan Kenobi from the first one.
Holy shit.
And yeah, you see like TIE fighters flying in the background and it like pans up and you see like a silhouette of the Death Star up in the sky. It looks awesome.
Wow.
So that's got me excited. There's probably other things I just can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Oh, Civil War. Doesn't that come out this year?
Civil War.
That Captain America movie, the new one?
Yeah, that's this year. I actually haven't seen the second one yet. You
should. You should actually go see the second one. I think it's on Netflix, so you should be able to watch it.
It is
easily.
I'm a Captain American guy. I used to play him in the old Marvel vs. Capcom. I'm pretty sure I'm thinking of the right game. I've always liked him. Yeah. I like the casting in the movie. How in the first one he was so skinny. That guy who plays him, I forget. Evans?
Chris Evans.
I think that's great casting.
He's
I didn't
good.
like the first movie that much, but...
Neither did I. I haven't seen it. I saw it once at the cinemas, and I haven't seen it since then.
Yeah, I think I've seen it once, but...
Civil War... That's why I didn't go to the cinemas to watch
the
Civil War. Winter Soldier.
Yep. I
purposely missed that one because I just didn't really care much for the first one.
Right.
And my mate got me to watch it, and it pleasantly surprised me. It was actually a really good movie. It's one of the best. It's one of the best Marvel, actual Marvel films.
Wow.
I didn't give a shit about Age of Ultron, honestly. It was cool for 5 minutes, and then. Yeah, it's one of those movies, I just don't see myself ever watching it again.
Yeah.
It was forgettable. There was just so much going on. It just feels like they're cramming now in movies like this. There's just so much going on. Yeah. CG first after CG first. But, definitely go watch Winter Soldier. There's a few I haven't seen, some of the recent ones, like Ant-Man and... The second Thor movie I haven't seen.
Yep.
Ant-Man's supposed to be good though, so I should actually see it. I think... Yeah, I need to actually get a copy of that. I need to watch it soon.
Well,
it's got Paul Rudd. I like Paul Rudd.
Yeah, I like Paul Rudd. I think everyone.
I'm not too sure how I missed out on that one when it came out. I just didn't get a time to go see it or something.
I guess Captain America is on my list, even though I haven't seen the second one of things I'm looking forward to. There's a couple of other things, like Uncharted, of course. I'm not too pleased about that being pushed back. I'm looking at my list now, and I'm seeing a couple things. The Division, I want to get this game, and I want to talk about this game. I just want to sit back on this one and just see. Hitman, I'm 50-50 on at the moment. I'm probably more 40-60 in the cons. Sure. Look, Quantum Break is probably the next game, and it's probably only Xbox One, but sooner or later they'll release it on PC. I think that'll be another
You reckon?
Yeah, I think they will. They released Alan Wake.
Yeah, they did.
I feel as if that'll be extremely strong game. There's a couple.
Didn't that get delayed? I remember them talking about that game
years
ago, ages ago, and that now it's kind of resurfaced. People are talking about it again.
Yeah. Then when I go down the list, now that Uncharted has been delayed, it's gone all the way down to May, and that's sitting in my May category with Homefront, The Revolution.
Oh yeah.
Yep. No Man's Sky. People went a bit quiet on that game now.
But it's like other games. It's people are talking about it again. I think it's resurfaced as like a new. I think there's a new trailer because it comes out in June, I think, and the pre-order exclusives have just been released for that, and it's also just come out on Steam as a pre-order game that you can pre-order on Steam. Just the other day, it got announced on Steam.
Oh wow!
So I'm gonna get it because I'm digging the space exploration games at the moment.
Man. Awesome.
I'm playing Elite Dangerous.
Yeah, I've seen your video the other day with
since
new
like
screens.
launch, but just after launch, and I haven't played it since last year, and I've just started casually getting back into it, and I just uploaded a video of just a little, 20-minute session the other night. But yeah, I'm very rusty. Like there's some encounters I had with some bads, some enemies, and I got myself into a jam and I had to escape. But No Man's Sky, I'm looking forward to it. I think it looks nice. It looks cool. Well, plus the ship you seem to have access to fly around in, judging from the photos, looks cool because it kind of reminds me of an X-wing. It kind of looks like an X-wing.
Oh yeah, from Street Fighter.
That kind of appeals to my sensibilities in some ways.
I think there's a couple of games coming that like Hellblade or Final Fantasy 15, and not necessarily games that I'm gonna definitely play. Just games that I'm excited to see coming out.
That Dishonored game, I think it's called Dishonored.
2. Yeah, Dishonored. Yeah.
No, sorry. See, I'm mucking myself.
Because there's a second Dishonored coming out, and then there's a
For
Legend of Zelda
or something.
coming
That
out.
Ubisoft game with knights and Vikings and samurai. Is it For Honor?
For Honor.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's December. Yeah.
Yeah, which is funny because that's another Ubisoft game. So many Ubisoft releases as of late.
Yeah, with that Far Cry Primal and. Yeah. Do you know anyone that got that?
I finished. Personally, no. I've been watching some people play it on Twitch over the last week or so, whatever. It looks good. I mean, am I going to get it? Probably not. I've kind of given up on Far Cry games. Just make a Blood Dragon 2, guys. Come on. That's all I want. That's all I want. That's all I need in my life right now is Blood Dragon 2. Michael Biehn as the main character again. That's it. Like, just that will make me so happy. That'll make my life complete for 2016 if they just did that and released that instead. But there hasn't been any word on that. I don't think they're working on it. No one's doing anything. It must have just been a one-off. But god damn it, can't they just do it? Come on, guys.
Yeah, it was great. I actually really enjoyed that. I was talking to a friend the other day about that.
What a great game.
There's things out there at the same time as there's... Look, it will be another couple of months before something comes out. Sometimes that's just the way it is. Yeah. But there's always something. And, You're always going to find it here on our channel, and we'll be talking about it.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah, you said it, Chris. There's always something, isn't there? Like, in the current, climate, or whatever you want to call it, of popular media and games and movies, there's never a moment where there's nothing to see, or nothing to go see, or nothing to play.
Right.
I mean, there's almost... never before in our lives have we been so oversaturated with popular things to do, like media, films and then games and stuff like that. There's always something coming out. It's crazy. And I think we've had this conversation before, where there's like so many games that you are interested in and want to play that you just can't. You literally cannot play them all, or you can try, but you just never finish them all.
Yeah.
And it's hard to keep up. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is, man.
So there's always something. And 9 times out of 10 we're probably going to talk about it on this lovely little channel, or whatever you want to call it, like our little podcast that
I guess
50 people listen to, less than 50 people listen to.
It's the aim, though. It's just, this is all things in the world of Geek, basically, and when something does come up,
True.
like the next Superman Batman movie, or like you said, like even the trailer talking about the new Ghostbusters or something like that, we're willing to talk about.
Yeah.
We're not critiquing things. It's not really critiquing things.
Sometimes we will.
We will when they need to be. I'm just joking, but I'm enjoying it. It's good.
Really quickly before we wrap up, I've had this on my mind for a while now. You recently, or what was it, a month or two ago, for the first time ever in your life, we sat down together and we popped in a certain movie that you know of, like you know it very well, but you've just never watched it from start to finish.
Young sir. Yes, I did.
Tell us, touch on that for a bit, because that was really for me to see that reaction of your reaction watching that movie was so good. It was so special to me. Like, it made me feel excited for movies again.
That's good.
What was it, Chris?
Terminator, the original
Terminator.
Yeah. That was crazy. That movie, wow. You have to understand, I've seen parts of it, right? And I've seen trailers.
Yeah.
And that movie, and this is having never seen it. 1984, is it come out? What year does it come out?
Yeah, that blew your mind. I remember you were like speechless for a second when you're like, what? This was made in 1984? Like those Future War scenes you were watching, and like...
Oh. Man.
You were blown away.
I was.
I had the biggest, stupidest grin on my face. Because I'm like, yeah, that's the shit right there.
But I absolutely was. Wow. That movie. The casting, the effects, the car chase scene. The car chase scene.
It's considered a low-budget movie. It's like a B-grade movie in comparison to other things that were coming out.
That absolutely blew my mind. That movie absolutely blew my mind. The fact that even with the story, and it's not as if stories and movies haven't been great since the 50s and 40s. The story in that movie and just the fact that it's not minimalist, but the fact that the main character can't necessarily trust the protagonist, or what's his name?
Kyle Reese.
No, not in the movie. The guy who plays him, the guy that did the voice.
Oh, the actor, Michael Biehn, who was in Hicks in Aliens, and the main character in Blood Dragon, the game.
Yeah, sorry.
And many other things. That's just a few of them.
Oh man, that guy in that movie. That is such a great movie. He is perfect in that movie. That whole movie, even the fact to the point where you don't even think they're gonna get away. That had me all the way, and I know that they do, obviously, because because I know that there's other Terminator movies, and she's alive in the second one. But it genuinely had me tricked in the first, like genuinely, I was like, hang on, does she somehow die in this movie? Then do they go back or some BS? Because
Yeah.
I genuinely thought they're not going to get away from this guy. Like there was, and it didn't need, this guy. Like we watched it with the guys talking about it on that podcast, which was a great podcast.
Yeah, we watched it. We actually, yes, thank you. I forgot we did that. We watched it with Oliver Harper's podcast. He did a redo of his commentary of it. A huge shout out to Oliver Harper and the gang, Duncan Casey and Richard Jackson.
The fact that
fantastic group.
Just the fact that they purely alone put it this way, and I wanted to mention them because this is not me noticing it, it's them. And now I thought about it when they said it. And I even said to you when we were watching the movie, it is true. He's not this crazy, he gets blasted back from a 12 gauge. It was the fact that his whole demeanor in that movie, his whole face, it was the acting and the writing in that movie was very strong. And it's not just because it's the original, because this is someone that genuinely doesn't really have a taste for the whole franchise, or watched the other ones and hated them, because that's not true either. I actually enjoyed the other ones, but that movie absolutely blew my mind. That was almost as if the first time I played GoldenEye on Nintendo 64. And us talking about this actually brings me onto another thing which I want to try. I want to go back, because I think I've still got a Nintendo 64, and I want to go back and I want to play, just like that opened my mind, because there's so many movies I've always wanted to watch, and a few years ago 12 Monkeys was one of them, so I went back and watched that movie. Had never seen it before.
Great film.
Great film. Great film. Brad Pitt's best movie.
I tried watching the TV series because Brad Pitt in that movie, one of his best roles. He still makes movies, but those older roles, like in Fight Club and 12 Monkeys and stuff, those were the best ones. But because I love the movie, I tried watching the show recently, that the TV series that they've started a while back, and honestly, I couldn't even get through the first season.
Wow.
I had to stop. I just couldn't. I'm like, why ruin something that was just great as a standalone movie? Like, it could have been great supplemental material or something. It could have complemented the film in a good way, kind of like what Hannibal did.
Right.
How it kind of took the books and the films and kind of put a twist on them, and they took certain liberties with it. They could have done that with 12 Monkeys, but honestly, I don't think they did a good job with it. No offense to anyone that's enjoying the show or whatever, but I just couldn't get into it. The movie was like just better than the show, a million times better than the show. I just didn't care much for the performances and stuff. Like, I don't know, I couldn't even finish it. I couldn't get into it. But yeah, the movie's great.
But yeah, I've just been going back and trying to look through. Not that there's not great things coming out now.
I've got a Nintendo 64. I just don't have GoldenEye. If
I don't have GoldenEye either. I sold it for like $10 back in 2004, I think. 2003.
Now it fetches way more than that when you try and buy it online or something, or someplace.
Well, I don't know. I think that
track a copy down.
The reason I bring this up, I think, not necessarily next episode, because I don't like to do a to be continued type thing, but I do want us to go back and play like one of our favorite games and talk about it, and just see if it's still your favorite game, or will it just ruin it? I don't know.
I've had a few experiences recently, because one real quick one, because the new Deus Ex game is coming out.
Oh yes,
soon-ish. That kind of got me hyped up. Like, some of that gameplay stuff for that new game blew my friggin' mind, and I'm like, I should go back and replay the original. So I did. I tried to anyway. I didn't get into it because that game looks so bad now. But the one that came out a few years ago,
I never played it.
I think it was called. It's great. It's worth playing, but I tried to play it again recently, I haven't played it since it came out. Loved the game, really got into it, used to play it all the time. And yeah, I tried to go back to replay it. I think it was a couple of months ago, it wasn't that long ago.
Right.
And yeah, that game just looks so bad now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it hasn't aged well, and it's not even that old when you really think about it. It's only a couple of years old. It's a last gen game, so it was on like PS3 and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, it doesn't look too good.
Oh, okay.
So that's one example of a game that I actually have gone back to play again, and just I played it for like 20 minutes, and I had to put the controller away. I couldn't. But yeah, that's a good idea. Going back to the past and revisiting some of those old games that you used to hold in high regard, and seeing if they still are as good as you remember. If it's just nostalgia or whatever, that's an interesting little experiment.
Yeah. Well, anyways.
Yeah, I finished Firewatch again. I said I'd replay
really?
it, and I did. Yeah, so that was cool. I actually found certain things I missed in. I did actually found things I missed in the first one. Like maybe I took a different path to get to a certain part of the map the first time, or I tried to pick different responses with some of the choices in the game, just to see like how the dialogue would pan out, or how the character would react to certain things I said, to what Delilah said in the game. So that it was worth it. Actually, for me, it was worth replaying it. That was good, and it was just after the patch, because I had a patch recently.
That's
so
right.
It fixed a couple of the like graphical errors, like some of the tearing and stuff. So, it was good.
Anyway,
but yeah,
good chat, buddy.
Good chat as always. That's it.
Anyways,
yeah. Hopefully we'll find something to talk about next time.
Yeah,
something like we always do. Anyway, in the meantime, stay groovy and have a good one, and we'll catch up hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Thanks for having a chat today, and I'm glad we touched on some points, and I'll have quite a bit to say in the next one, and I want to keep looking at this MKX and Street Fighter, and I'll have to verse you on that. But
yeah, we'll have a rematch again.
Yeah, I'll get some practice in first. Oh, it was good chatting to you.
No worries. Oh, yeah, definitely. Always, Chris. Stay classy, take it easy, and we'll catch up soon.
Alright, catch you, buddy.